Welcome back to the show, everybody. Well, today is the day. ETHgate is real. Free ETHgate free pass is real. The Hinman emails and documents have dropped, and it is despicable. And you're not going to believe it. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, Bitcoin 26,100 plus, Ethereum 1752 and change. We see Tether market cap is 83.5 billion this morning. That has got to be an all-time high for the market cap of Tether. And we see XRP at 54 cents, up 4.1% in the 24 hours. And that would appear to be from the Hinman email documents dropping here, ladies and gentlemen. You are about to be pissed off. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're also about to be validated hugely. Because I'm going to tell you, ETHgate was real and so was the free pass. Right here you can see where the parties have filed, and we look at the 56.1 is what we're going to pay attention to from Ripple today primarily. So I want you to focus on that. We have more that will be coming over the days, so make sure you tune in as well. But before we get started, check this out right here, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is linked to, and it's where you can get Ripple. And we're getting closer and closer to the end of this trial. And, you know, well, not trial, but this court case, excuse me. But this is where you can get Ripple private equity. And I suggest you act now because the window is closing faster than ever now. And it does appear that greatly a lot of this is in Ripple's favor of what you're going to see today. I would not mess around and get my Ripple private equity and anything else you're going to get on this platform. Click the link underneath the video, link2.com. I'm telling you, things are going to move quickly. All right, let's get started right here. Bill Morgan shares here from Fred Rispoli. You need to see this. I'm going to read Bill's comment to you first. My conclusion also, he says, no remaining doubt about ETHgate. And given the number of SEC staff involved, it is a disgrace to the United States for one of its primary regulators to behave in this way. Let's hear from Fred Rispoli right here. So, market confusion, and it's very clear that yes, hands down, no more guessing, total for reals, ETHgate actually happened. I can't see any way SEC wins its motion to summary judgment, and I think you will find it extremely obvious why both judges in this case ordered those documents produced. Shout out to Fred and Bill for this. Don't worry about reading it yet. Finland Law will be up in a few hours to post everything, and the money shot is in Ripple 56.1, which is what we're going to focus on mostly throughout this today. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. And it's right here. Never forget, ladies and gentlemen, digital asset investor is the one who led this charge, who broke open the door to reveal to the world that ETHgate free pass was absolutely real. And the rest of us took up arms. And boy, are we glad that he did. Because today, we are validated. It absolutely happened. This was a grand conspiracy, but not of XRP Army, but of Vitalik Buterin and the SEC and William Hinman and Jay Clayton and every other stinking asshole inside the SEC that's in that document thread. And I tell you right now, there should be charges of racketeering going up against these people. The SEC is a corrupt organization, a crime syndicate. Vitalik Buterin was on the phone helping craft the Ethereum free pass with Hinman and the rest of them. You don't believe it? It's still true. Vitalik Buterin at the same time publicly talking trash about Ripple and XRP. Where are the police to arrest these people for racketeering? Mr. Hubert says they pointed out that Hinman was that what Hinman says about Ethereum contradicts the rest of his speech, arguing more for Ethereum being actually a security. This is what's said in here. we still have reservation about including a statement directly about Ether in the speech. They're telling him you shouldn't put that direct statement in there, even with the caveats in the sentence. It seems that it would be difficult for the agency to take a different position on Ether in the future. Further, the rest of the paragraph strongly implies that the thinking applies to Ether. Without the sentence about Ether, those implications might generate a useful reaction about Ether from purchasers or those in the fintech space. With the sentence, the redactions seem less likely to focus on the analysis and more likely to focus on the potential fallout of making a direct statement about Ether's status as a security. And that's exactly what has happened. Oh, it gets worse. This is a redacted Ripple brief in opposition to the SEC summary judgment motion here. This is Bill Morgan sharing this. This one passage, now unredacted, shows the missing words, how fair notice defense is looking now. You can see in this, contemporaneous SEC communications suggest that the SEC's own officials were well aware that the speech would lead to greater confusion and deliberately recommended giving industry participants less detail, presumably to give the agency more room to maneuver. This is the kind of crooked shit that's been jumping off for over 2 years to give Ethereum a free pass, while the rest of us were called conspiracy theorists, right? Grand conspiracy theorists. As it turns out, you're criminals. These people are criminal. This is the footnote for the passage. Hinman's new test went beyond the typical Howey analysis. Yes, why would he do that? Oh, I think I might know why he would do that. Because he had 15 million reasons to do that. This is what they say. SEC lawyer reviewing the speech, the less detail, the better. Right? They all love the ambiguity, right? We want to leave a door open to sue them. Statement by the SEC's Director of Trading and Markets that this might lead to greater confusion on what is a security because Hinman's new test goes beyond the typical Howey analysis, and they know it. And they know it. The footnote for the extract on page 64 is footnote 41. We've all looked at it. Here is the unredacted version, however. The SEC in 2018 did not think lockups like escrow were relevant and were indicia of non-security, then changed its mind. This material will be relevant in other crypto cases. Take a look here. It says right here, whether a person or a group retained in stake or other interest in digital assets such that it would be motivated to expend efforts to cause an increase in value in the digital asset. Does not seem relevant. How about that? Arguing that XRP is a security because Ripple was XRP's largest stakeholder and therefore had economic incentives to make the price of XRP go up. So they originally make the argument that the escrow wasn't a big deal. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Bill Morgan says it right here. This will do it for me right here. He says this is the first two extracts covering a passage of Rule 56.1. It says there was some internal debate about whether include Ethereum. No problem. Let's just call Vitalik Buterin for unbiased opinion on how Ethereum works. How are you going to call the creator and founder to get an unbiased opinion about how his own network works? Oh my goodness. This is what it says. This is what it says. SEC Hinman inserted an alternative to the proposed Ether language, which could be used on Ether if we need to hedge the issue a bit at the time of the speech. It says here on June 4th, Hinman shared a draft of the speech with the SEC division heads and wrote that the proposed language about Ether is in brackets, and would be used if we are all in agreement. And adding, We also have a call with Buterin later this week to confirm our understanding of how Ethereum Foundation operates, suggesting that the draft did not reflect Hinman's understanding of how Ethereum Foundation operates. This is so freaking corrupt. It is despicable. Our government dollars are running this agency. This is the footnote for passages. Hinman's new test went beyond the typical analysis. And why did he do that? Well, I'll tell you why he did that. Because he had 15 million reasons. That's why he went beyond the typical Howey analysis. Crooked son of a bitch. But wait, there's more. Remember, this isn't only about seeing the SEC side of this. John Deaton points out here, this is also about seeing the SEC side of this. He says, we finally get to see specific evidence offered versus Ripple. Ripple wanted to redact evidence linking Ripple's revenue with XRP sales, offered to Coinbase and others to list XRP, an amount of sales targeted at investors through programmatic sales. Here you go right here. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's here, and we have to acknowledge it, right? It says right here, if you go into it here, however, the court agrees that the SEC, that the defendant proposed redactions for references to financial information in the parties. Rule 56.1 statements are overbroad. It says, for instance, defendants seek to redact the references linking Ripple's revenues with XRP sales. It says here, defendants also seek to redact the compensation that Ripple offered to trading platforms to list XRP. Now listen, look, marketing offer, that could be enough right there to get the early day sales in trouble. That's what John Deaton's pointing out here. Defendants seek to redact the amount of Ripple XRP sales targeted at investors through programmatic and institutional sales. The court concludes that these redactions are overbroad. Further, this financial data, which is related to Ripple's XRP sales and payment to third parties to list XRP, directly pertains to the Howey analysis, a central issue in the party summary judgment. Again, just an offer alone can get them in trouble with these early sales. So this does suggest that the judge may be splitting the baby. We'll have to pay very close attention, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to John Deaton for that one. And possible good news for the secondary XRP market, which is every retail investor hearing this right now. The SEC General Counsel emails proposed changes in assessing if crypto is an investment contract, that in Howey, purchasing land was only a security if a service contract was a part of it, not the property itself. Well, guess what? We don't have a service contract when we buy XRP, which is highly suggestive of the fact that if only the purchase of land and service contract was purchase of a security, those who bought land only had not purchased a security. So there you go. And if that means that, then that means we didn't get a service contract when we bought XRP, which should mean the judge should rule in the way that says XRP secondary market sales, retail investors are not holding securities. Again, I say, with a Ripple win, this is what crypto clarity will look like after Judge Torres's decision. And it will likely be the only clarity we get for a couple years until Congress passes legislation. This right here is what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. Proof of work, proof of stake, DeFi lending, Federated Byzantine Agreement, NFTs. Ripple's been sued. There's no need to sue Stellar or XLM because it's the same protocol. DeFi money market was sued over DeFi lending. BlockFi was sued over lending. Proof of stake, Cardano has been said that it's a security and looks to be sued. Ethereum, quite possibly after what we have seen and validated about, should absolutely be clawed back. And what will they do? They'll probably go after the early sales of Bitcoin as well. Because if we know what we know here, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly before we wrap here, If we know that the early sales and the marketing offer could put Ripple in danger for the early sales before the creation of on-demand liquidity in the commercial use, that could come into play for a trial, appeal, and possibly Supreme Court if they want to fight it that far. The SEC could use a split decision like that to absolutely keep the hammer going to smash this space until Congress passes legislation. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.